哦，今天我们从哈利法克斯上北向南走西右东，往西走，往西走。
往西南方向。
上车吧。
有个事儿。
快上。
然后这个车租1天多少钱啊
？500块钱，走走上。
好的。我们大概要开2个小时车程。这是90。
1块钱。我们看一下这边怎么交钱。哎，你啊对对。我们来看一下怎么交钱。给我开窗户干嘛？
哦。
然后这个钱算到这里就可以了。
看一下啊，他这 stop pay 嘛，然后他就跟你说有1块钱，然后我们就这样扔进去了，然后它就显示
够了
，cash paid。
也不知道它怎么实现的。
反正你要交7毛钱，它就会显示你交了7毛钱。
对呀，很神奇。
你交了多少钱，它就交多少钱。
我们昨天交了9毛5分钱。
这边左转一定要先让直行，该给大家看一下，要让一下。好了。
这安纳谷的东部。
我们在这个位置。
这是安纳谷的东部，这是安纳谷东部。
我们在这个位置上。对好交，能对上吗？
好的。
这个地方叫沃尔夫威尔，我们在这个位置。
这片很漂亮的，在高速上可以看到。
No, you're going down this road. Right. Oh, there's one there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
这
you。
是他的外甥女，然后他说顺着这条路下去呢，我们就到了 National Park，然后有一个很大的教堂。
那个芬迪湾我们已经过了吗？
这已经是在芬迪湾。
对，我就觉得我们这里就是芬迪湾。那这边主要就是国家公园和教堂嘛，还有什么别的？
It's a nice park. When you get down there, ask them where the
有没有
walk-off
酒
is.
庄？
Go to the walk-off. You can look right down back over the whole valley.
Yeah, whole valley.
Yeah. You can see the whole thing from the walk-off.
Okay.
Right? Just ask them.
Yeah, do you know another national park or some beautiful place in here?
And here,
Yeah.
this is the only national park right in this area. There's a Blomton Park over on the other side. You'll see Blomton from the bay over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
You'll see the big cleft over there. And that's Blomton Park.
So the national park will be there, right?
Yeah, it's right there. It's like 1 minute down that road.
他说我们现在是在这里，然后我们从这样下去，我们现在在这里，然后从这个地方下去，这是有个 national park，然后现在这里已经是水了，这里有个小岛，然后我们就只能是环绕岛，但是不一定能过得去。这个标志呢，就是国家公园的标志。它这个动物呢，是我忘记是哪种动物，就是加拿大
蜥蜴。
对，不是蜥蜴，就是好像是水獭还是那种 roots，就是反正就是这种东西，就加拿大很出名的，就是相当象征性，就像那个熊猫在中国那种感觉，所以它会用来做国家公园的标 logo。
然后你本来是有那个，
我本来有申请了那个国家公园全部的国家公园门票的 pass， 只要你开车，你把那个门票拿着，你就可以进去玩。然后它是因为加拿大去年的时候是150周年，所以它给公民和当地的人就有这种福利，就是你可以申请，一个家庭可以申请最多3到4张吧，然后你就可以环游整个加拿大，是免费的。
你在吃什么？你在吃什么？
蛋卷。这边天比较冷，然后大家就是饿了的时候就可以吃东西。可乐是健怡的，没有糖的。我很少喝这个。然后我们现在在路边看到了一个种葡萄园的地方。
一个葡萄种植园。
对，然后但是我们的英语不好，我们刚想酒店里面检查单词，准备进去问人家， 就是我们这个是非常不专业的，但是抱着很大的极大的热情给大家分享这个世界。我们来这边看一下，他们到底是怎么在这边生活，然后是做什么为生。先看看外面这个环境吧，你过来看一下这边，过来看看这边。
And what's your name?
Randy.
Randy?
Yeah. So my name is Randy, and I work for a tour company called Grape Escapes.
Grapescapes.
Grape Escapes, and we bring people to all the lovely wineries up here in the Gasper Valley. Yeah.
他是主要是就是做导游公司的，领人来就是看一些这边的酒庄呀，然后品尝酒呀这样的情况。
You are local people.
Say again?
Local people.
Yeah. I live near Halifax.
Oh, Halifax.
Yeah.
他是哈利法克斯的人。
So we're on the Bay of Fundy, which is the north side of Nova Scotia, and then Halifax is on the south side of Nova Scotia.
What kind of the customer? So they are from.
People from all over the world come to this winery and other wineries.
Yeah.
This group I have is bachelorettes. One of the ladies is getting married soon.
Oh.
So you have people like mixed groups. You have people from companies, bachelorette parties, all kinds. So this gentleman's going to take you out and show you the grounds and the view and tell you about the grapes.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
So, good morning. Welcome to Grand Prix Winery. My name is Flynn, and I'll be taking you through a bit of a guided tour. So first, we'll go through the history of the site, and then we'll do a bit of a walk up to the vineyard, and you can look at the vines. And after that, we'll do a bit of a guided tasting and go through the winemaking process. Feel free to take as many pictures as you like. So Grand Prix Winery is actually the oldest winery in Nova Scotia. It was started in the late 70s by a gentleman by the name of Roger Dial. He was from California, moved here, became a professor at Dalhousie University in Halifax, and eventually opened up this winery. The Stutz family purchased the property in 1993.
1993?
In 93, yep. So between the time before they purchased the property, the winery had fallen on a bit of a hard time. So when Hans-Peter Stutz purchased the property, he began a process of renovation. So he ripped up the vines and began renovating all the buildings. So one thing that's interesting about grapes is the vines don't produce fruit right away. It takes between 3 and 4 years to start producing fruit. So while they were waiting for the vines to start producing fruit, they started renovating every building. So starting with the owner's residence right there where he currently lives, as well as the wine shop and the cellar and the restaurant here behind me. They opened in 2000, so it's their 18th season. Yeah. And this is a family business. So as I mentioned, it is Hans-Peter Stutz is the owner. He lives right there, as I mentioned, with his partner Anna, who does all the gardening you see around here. Yeah. His son Jörg is the winemaker. Jörg's wife Cecilia is the wine shop manager, so she's my boss. And Hans-Peter's daughter Beatrice is the restaurant manager, and Beatrice's husband Jason is the chef. So do you have any questions at all, or?
Is that groups?
Sorry?
What's that?
So this is a vine known as Maréchal Foch. When we get up there, I'll sort of explain the unique challenges of having a wine industry here in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
So you may not have heard a lot about the grapes we kind of grow because they're all known as French-American hybrids.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's sort of worth coming up over here just so you could sort of see the view out over to the marsh so when the Acadians settled here, they built up a bunch of dike lands around the basin here, and that drained the water and left a lot of fertile soil out over there, as you could see. And you can see it's sort of been cultivated and farmed. So the Nova Scotia wine industry is considered a cool climate wine industry. We have about 120 growing days. Harvest is usually between October, and sometimes early November if weather permitting.
Yeah.
So these grapes over here, as I mentioned, they're Maréchal Foch, so that may not be a familiar name to you, and that's because we do grow predominantly what are known as French-American hybrids. So they're crossed grapes between a lot of classic Old World varieties as well as American varieties that are more suited in winter hardy. We need vines that can survive our our harsher winters here sometimes. So needs to be able to survive at least minus 20. Because if it hits minus 20 for a second, a lot of vines can't handle that temperature, and it can ruin the next year's production.
Do you need a cover or in the?
No. Well, what they do usually, if they need to, if they're worried about it, is they can mound dirt up around the vine, but that doesn't necessarily protect the buds that are remaining, that are sort of hibernating through the winter.
So because the snow rain or something that destroys the herb, I think.
Sorry?
The snow rain.
Yeah, snow rain. Yeah.
Snowing will destroy the herb. Because the weather is good, it's very bad.
In winters here, they're generally pretty mild. We do get some temperature fluctuations though. So you kind of have to take into account. You want to actually, we can walk up to the vines here and we can sort of take a closer look. I should also mention that we produce about 10,000 cases a year, so we're really focusing on, it's not a lot in terms of production, but we're really focusing on the quality rather than quantity. And we have 19 acres here on site, sort of from
19
here,
acres?
19 acres, and they stretch it that way. And then we have another sort of 15 on the other side of the highway in the Gaspereau Valley. Those are primarily new plantings, and those are like Pinot Noir and Chardonnays. So they're not really producing yet, they're still planted. So you can sort of tell here, these are some of the older vines on site. This is the base of the trunk or vine here. You can see it's nice and it's getting thicker. So if they're worried about cold temperatures, what they can do is they can mound up dirt around the vine, and that protects this part. But what happens is the vines are sort of self-renewing. So this is actually old growth. So these here are where the buds would have been, and you have these new canes sort of shooting out. So if it gets too cold, I mean, we don't really have to worry about it with these hybrid vines. They're generally very winter hardy. So if it gets too cold though, it can damage these buds. So that's why we grow the varieties that we do, because they can withstand our winters. And this is known as a sort of our vertical pruning system. So what we're doing here is each of these are going to grow up, right? So what they'll do is they'll grow up, and the shoots will continue to grow up, and they'll grab onto this wire here. And the vineyard crew, this is a very labor-intensive process. They'll go about pruning not just the leafy part of it, like the foliage, because they want to keep that maintained. Because what happens is if there's too much, the vine puts too much effort on producing the leaves, and not enough emphasis is put on producing the fruit. So if they prune this stuff out, and this will happen later in the season, the vine focuses more on fruit production, which gives us much better quality. The other thing they need to do is they don't want it to get too tall, so they have to maintain it up to this height. And the grapes will generally grow in this area, but they also need to prune the leaf coverage there too, because they need sun exposure on the grapes. Otherwise, the grapes don't develop properly. You need sugar in order to create the alcohol, and if the grapes aren't getting enough sun, they won't develop those sugars. You may notice also, like back there was some that were pruned, or not, they were trained higher up on the wire, and that's because some vines grow differently. So some vines will grow up, some vines will go down. So it depends on the way the vine grows. That really depends on how they sort of guide it along the wires. So these ones are similar to the ones we were just looking at. They'll grow along the bottom wire here and then shoot up towards the top. And these right here are old, they'll wrap around. So these are old tendrils that sort of, they hold on to the wire.
In the fall, it will grow up in here.
到葡萄采摘的季节，他们是会有外地的人过来采摘，是当地人就能完成。
In the collecting season, so someone will help me to.
Yeah, and we're harvesting by hand too. So like they're walking around the rows and grabbing the clusters. They're snipping them off and they're putting them in baskets. And
so how many people will do the?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. This is my first season here, so I'm still learning the specifics about everything. I'm not sure how big their vineyard crew is. I imagine it probably gets a little bit bigger towards harvest because they need to get the grapes off the vine.